Hey, this is Jay Holland back to you today with another episode of Guided by Faith. We are continuing to walk through the book of Proverbs, looking at one verse or a collection of verses each day based on whatever the date of the month is. An incredible way to develop a daily Bible reading habit. And so I'm just showing you all month an example of how you can pull so much out of just one or two verses from the book of Proverbs. Real quick before we go into today's, you may not know that I also do a weekly email called Things for Thursday. Now it's about every other week or a couple times a month as the summer's going on. And as I send this email out, I send out things that I've found that are really helpful, really interesting. A lot of it's for moms and dads, but the real reason I tell you is that on the front end, if you sign up for this email, I have some things that you might really enjoy. I have a scripture memory tool, which has a collection of Bible verses you can print out that are based on different topics that you can work through all year, memorizing one verse a week. I've got some questions to ask before you get into a dating relationship that's just really like a little bookmark that you can have that are really good, helpful questions to think through as you walk through somebody. Should I be with this person? Should I not? Is it worth pursuing this relationship? So if you're interested in that, just simply text the word things, THINGS, to 66866. That's things to 66866. And in the first email, I'll send you all kinds of good resources. Then you can decide whether you want to continue in my Things for Thursday email. So today, we are talking about Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1. I love this verse. I've used this verse to train teenagers as we're on mission trips to try to help them in their homes as well. So Proverbs 15:1 says, "A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." This is one that as a dad, I try to remember because I'm really good at I'm very good at being sarcastic. I'm quite talented at it. It's a pretty useless talent when it comes to relationships. But a soft answer turns away wrath, and a harsh word stirs up anger. For a number of years, actually over the last 25 years, there were many, many times where I got the privilege of taking a group of teenagers to inner city Baltimore to run a day camp for about 100 at-risk children and youth from the inner city Baltimore area. Many of them, their dads were in jail, or they were in a single-parent home, or being raised by a family member that wasn't mom or dad, or raised by somebody else. And they lived in a pressure cooker. And we realized when these kids came to our camp, it was very different than running a VBS in Florida or Alaska or even overseas. Because these kids lived in such a hostile environment, they were kind of ready to defend themselves and buck up at any chance. And so one of the things that we just kind of put in our mind is you can't meet power with power in these situations. And so even though we were technically in charge, these kids didn't care that we were in charge. And so we had to win by relationship. And so one of the things that we would walk through all the time is just this, I would say it over and over again: de-escalate, de-escalate, de-escalate. And so if somebody came at you angry, instead of my first response being just reflect their anger or one up their anger, I would try to deflect their anger. I would try to lower the pressure cooker of the situation. And it was amazing because in doing this, we gained the trust of the children that we were taking care of, and then they were able to actually hear the gospel. And this is an incredible skill for you in your house with your moms and dads. This is an incredible skill with your parents, and a huge one as you are texting or as you're in social media. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Think about it with your mom and dad. My first thought is I want to win the argument, but my long-term best strategy is I want to win the person. So if I'm a child in a home under the authority of my parents, then more than me getting my way in a particular argument, I want my mom and dad to be on my side and not be on the hostile against me all the time. And so when they say something that I disagree with or is the opposite of what I want to do or what I think, I got to swallow that first gut reaction of snapping back at them or defending myself or biting back or showing them why, I'm smart and they're stupid. What I want to do is de-escalate the situation. And so one of the really good ways to do that is kind of a reflective response where you repeat back what they said to make sure, make sure that they know that you heard. And so you can mirror the last few words that they say, or you can say, hey, so just so that I understand what you're saying, you're asking me to do this. And what I've learned is if people know that I understand what they're saying, they're often much more likely to listen to my counter argument or my case. And I'll tell you, I have one son that's pretty good at this, in the sense of he does a good job of de-escalating in this way. If I come at him kind of snappy or, too quick to be angry on the first try, instead of blowing up back, he'd be like, Dad, will you try just telling me the first time instead of like snapping at me or biting? And he does it in a tone that makes me realize, oh yeah, I kind of overreacted to that. And so in his case, a soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word would stir up anger. Like if he snapped back at me, I'm going to continue to one up because I'll feel disrespected as a parent. And so that's part on me. I don't want to live my life feeling disrespected as a parent. I want to model good behavior. But I'm just telling you, as a kid, if you will focus on the way you respond, being calm, being considerate, being kind, especially the more that somebody was not calm and considerate and kind to you, you can learn to win the person instead of just thinking about winning the argument. Strength isn't showing that you're smarter with your words, that you're louder. Strength is really choosing gentleness when things get tense. And if you can be the kind of person who de-escalates a hyper situation, de-escalates an angry, tense situation, you are a person of peace that is incredibly helpful across all situations in your life. And so today, I want to encourage you to pray and ask the Lord, where are the areas where I'm quick to bite back? Where are the areas that I'm quick to be snappy? Lord, show me, what can my first response be so that I can win the person and not just be worried about winning the argument? And I would bet you anything, if you seek to win the person, seek to win your mom or dad, seek to win your sibling, seek to win your friend, you will actually end up being on the better side of a lot of these arguments than you are if you're just snappy and rude and biting and showing how smart and loud you are. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. So let's be the kind of people that de-escalate and turn away wrath. We'll talk to you tomorrow.